welcome back to the channel. I'm going to share everything I know about how to get through all these social work assignments. So this is a video I've wanted to do for a long time because I like helping people, and I found that it was sometimes a struggle to find videos or the right kind of support when you're doing your assignments, because you can do it as a team with your cohort, but sometimes you weren't sure if they were getting it right. You could never guarantee that they were getting it right. But I never had anyone who had done it before who could show me what to do. So on this video, I'm gonna show you how I got through, okay? And I'm gonna start by asking you a question. Do you think that I am more clever than you? The fact that I'm doing this video and the fact that I'm telling you how to, does it mean that I'm more clever than you? Absolutely not. And I'm gonna say that in the light of this. I got a first class degree with my social work degree. And I'm telling you now that I am no more clever than anybody watching this video. I can tell you that now. And I'm gonna also point out that, I think it was in my first video, I want you to remember that I left school with no grades, and I went on for 23 years before I went back to college. And obviously that's a long time to be out of education. So how do I get a first class degree? And I'm going to show you some of the methods I use to do that. And I'm going to give you some great tips as to how to accomplish all of that, because I haven't seen anyone else out there doing that for us social workers, right? So if you're a student, this is definitely a video for you. If you're doing a step up program, I'm guessing this might be helpful for you. I'm going to tell exactly what I did, and I'm going to tell it to you in the context of the fact that I was a dad with 3 children, had to organize childcare, and I had to work whilst being a student, and I also had to work part-time and study and organize childcare and look after the kids and do homework, not only by myself, my wife did it as well, but she also works full-time. And my schedule being inconsistent every week because I didn't know when I was working. And there's also, you got to split your mind and your time. It can be done. I've done it, and I'm going to show exactly how I did it in that context. So if you don't have a lot of the challenges I have, it doesn't mean you'll do any better or any worse. Just take the tips, but know that if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So this has got nothing to do with being clever. This is all about the tips I'm going to show you, okay? 7 or 8 tips as to how to get through and do your work really well, specifically the assignments. And I'm going to show you step by step how I did my research, okay? Here we go. So I asked that question, do you think I'm more clever? Because I want you to know, clever doesn't get you the degree, okay? It's actually playing by the rules and showing them what they want to see. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. My first tip is obvious. Find out from your tutor or your lecturer what they want to see. What are they looking for in the assignments? Ask them, Miss, Sir, or John, Mary, whatever it is, what makes a good assignment? Find out what they want, what they love to see. They sometimes will send you samples as well of previous assignments. Find out what they want to see. They might want to see a lot about, and we had this in our uni, a lot about referencing. No sentence belongs to you. So do that. I'll show you about the references in a moment. Making points, nuanced points of a topic. So if it's about ethics or social or sociology, make new points, things that someone possibly hasn't read before. Be really clever about it. It's not hard, it's just that you've got to put the effort in. So what I did was, when I was in the class, I'd be thinking of new approaches to the topic. So they'd give you the assignment type, and then I'm thinking in class, how do I want to approach this different from everybody else? I was never going to produce a classic assignment. I'm like that. And they love that. That gets you crazy. That means to them that you are thinking about what you're doing. Second, read the requirements. So they're going to send you a document by email probably, or on, what's that website called? You know what I'm talking about, where everyone gets their assignments from and submits their assignments. Moodle, probably. And read what they're asking for. pick up on what they're asking for in that. Okay, and that will help that. And as you're doing the assignment, always go back to the requirements, the written requirements of the assignment. All right, relate everything you do to theory and use the PCF, the Professional Capabilities Framework. So always try to incorporate, as mentioned in PCF 3, a PCF 5. Throw it in there. It means that they can tell that you are thinking about what you're doing and applying the theoretical framework to your thinking and practice. And they want you to interpret everything through any theory that you learn. It could be a psychological, sociological, or social work theory. Always use theory. According to the social identity theory, this is how this would be interpreted. They love that because it means you're reading. And also you're going to use books. And I'm going to show you how I reference and find books. It's going to be really interesting, right? So do that. Make sure you do that for every single essay. Forget your opinion. It's what other people think. So it's what the authors, the tried and tested doctors or whatever they are out there, they've written books. Use their work. Don't use your opinion. That's a flawed and fatal mistake. So do that. I'm repeating myself now. Obviously, reference everything you do. All right. So obviously, if you're using theory and referring to books and the PCF and the KSS if necessary, refer to it. Just reference it. And I'm going to show you how to reference, and I'm going to show you how I do it in a video shortly at the end of this video. This is a big one, and I'm going to tell you what. Whilst all that I've just told you is all fundamental, right? This one thing is what got me through. All right, and it's actually more than one. It's actually one thing broken down. I'll show you. See this phone? Oh, let me turn it off. This is my phone, right? This is my phone, and I did about 70% of my work through my phone. And let me tell you what I did. Now, these my assignments were done on this particular. Well, actually, I had another phone, but it's mostly this one. I've got Google Drive. And so I've got cloud storage on my phone. And obviously, if you've got docs on here, I did my work in class. I built my assignments from the second class on any topic. I was building my assignment because the teachers would have sent it to us and said, this is the assignment for the next, two odd months they're giving you, right? And I would get my phone out or my iPad and use my Google Drive account and type up, not just notes, but notes to build into the assignment. And a lot of the references were coming from class. So I'd use some references from class and I'd go and get my own. Now listen carefully to this because this is what got me through. Tip number one on that area, I did a little bit every day. So it'd be sometimes 2 or 3 sentences or a paragraph. Now look, remember, I'm tight for time. This is my reality. You watch my previous videos, you'll know what my journey was like, right? I'd go to uni by bus. I'd get 2 buses to uni. The journey time was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And as soon as I finish uni, so I've done some in class, and as soon as I finish uni, and when I'm on the bus, the first bus journey is like 45 minutes. I would spend about 15, 20 minutes typing into my phone, which is my cloud drive, on my Google Docs for that assignment, thoughts and ideas or paragraphs that I had read. Are you getting this? This is, and I'll tell you why it worked out. Because what it meant was, and this is the other part of the success of how I got through, I'm ahead of the game. Why? Because so many of my cohort, last minute. And your worst work is produced sometimes at last minute because you're rushing. And don't think that they can't tell. Do you know what I mean? I'm building mine up from the beginning to the end. And by the time I get to that, the last 2 weeks, I would have everything I need. Because I've got more than enough books. I've got too much content. That's the problem now. I'd rather that than any other problem. A 3,000 word essay, I've got 4,800 words. I've got to chop it down. I'd rather chop it down than have to build it up. So that's what I did there. I'm ahead. And that's my other tip. So because I'm doing a little bit every day, by the time I get to week 5 and 6, I've practically done it. All I've got to do is piece it together. You understand? So there's no need to rush. There's no need to say, I've got to spend 2-3 hours studying. You don't need to do that. You've just got to stagger it throughout the whole period. Now, the thing is, uni's not hard. That's the thing. You in uni, they've got high expectations of the work that you produce, but if you do it every day, you'll be fine because you could spend the last week tweaking it. Do you know what I mean? So staying ahead, and what I do, and this is the third part of this, I would, what should we do? How should we do this? When I'm setting dates for my assignments, a teacher might say, oh, it's due on the 10th of January. I would say it's due on the 1st. So I would make sure that my assignments finish on the 1st of Jan. Now remember, they give you a long time to produce your assignments, and sometimes you're doing 2 and 3 at once. It's all right. What you do is you set your dates a week or so ahead, minimum a week. So you could do 10 days ahead of the submission date. And you stick to that date. And in your head, you've got to convince yourself, I've got till January the 1st. I've got to have it done. And I remember some guys, when they were submitting their assignments, they were doing it the night that it had to be done. They were still working on it. That type of stress does not go down well with me. I don't like it. I work better under pressure, but not that kind of pressure. That's crazy. This is not the Krypton factor, if you know what that is. I'm like, I need time because this is important to me. Do you know what I mean? It's costing me, 66 grand. I'm going to be ahead of time to get this done. So set your dates ahead. Do a little bit every day. Every day, just do a sentence or two. And if you're given about 10, 12 weeks to produce an assignment, that is so much time. It is so much time. You don't need that long. You really don't need that long. That's why in some ways uni can be a bit of a waste of time, because you don't need more than 3-4 weeks to produce an assignment. But here we are. You've given about 12 weeks per assignment. Sometimes you're doing 2 and 3. It's okay. Set your dates and you're ahead, and you just spend the last few days finalizing it. That's it. That is my number one tip. It's in 3 parts, but number one tip on how to stay ahead of the game. All right. I want to throw in a couple more as well. There are days when you're just tired of this game. Do you know what I mean? You're just tired of studying. I'm going to show you a trick that really made my work efficient. But sometimes you're just tired of it. I get it. What you got to do is you just got to go beyond how you feel. Just drill it into your head and heart. I'm going to write a paragraph today. That's it. I'm not going to have to write 3,000 words today or 10 or 100. I'm just going to write a paragraph. And if you do that every day, it's very hard to get stressed like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you live how I did what I did from scratch. Okay, let me just set this up. So I just want to be clear. I did not go to the library to do any work. I think I did it once, and I didn't have time because I've got to get home. Watch this, right? This is simple. So let's say, and the thing is, you have to remember, universities, they want more from journals now than they do from books. If you use your journals, they want it within 10 years. And your books as well. You'll get away with some of the classic stuff that's been around for a long time, but they like stuff in the last 10 years. The more recent, the better. They love it. If maybe you're looking at theory, social work theory, and I'm going to type it in randomly, say systemic practice and social work with children. Here we go. And I'm not going to go to the library. I'm going to come here and I'm going to look for journals. Not through the uni. I never once, actually I can't say never once, on the odd occasion, but I generally never use the university provided stuff. I need to do this quickly and effectively. So this is what I did. I go here and I go to books. Just for example, let's look at books first. So I'm looking at systemic practice and social work with children. Yeah, I don't know what the topic is that you're looking for, but let's say we come to this book. Now Google's changed a little bit, and I click on here, and there you go. Look, it comes up with the book. Yeah. And what I do is you can type in here anything that might be in the book that you're looking for. So it could be just systemic practice, for example. But hey, when I look through, this is what you do. You don't have to read for hours and hours. Don't deceive yourself to get your assignments done. But if you want to learn, you need to read. You got to put in the work. But for this, oh look, I like what it says here. Maybe you're interested in something to do with the 7S framework, yeah? Great. So maybe if this fits into kind of your narrative of what you're doing for your assignment, and then you come here, and this is going to get interesting, right? And I use this website to build my referencing. And so when I come here to cite this for me. This is what I use. Some people use RefMe. I use Cite for me. It just worked for me. My university required Harvard-style referencing. So I click on there, and it could be any of these. And then what I do is I go to a book. Yeah, some of you might know how to do this already, but hey. And then what I do, this is a quick way to do it. Here we go. I want the ISBN number. Ultimately, if not, you've got to build it manually. But ISBN 978. Here we go. 78. Oh, there it is. 978. It's this one. Yeah. And I click on there. Yeah, it's found the book. Social Work Reclaimed. Is that right? Social Work Reclaimed. Yeah, there you go. And then I'll click on it. Cite it. Are you happy? This is the one? Yeah. Click on there. And it comes, it fills in all the details of the book, right? This is really good. If you quote, you need to put the page number. But I very rarely quoted. Very rarely needed to. They don't like to see too many quotes in your work. It means that you're just copying and being lazy. So just do one quote, maybe maximum per assignment. That's my recommendation to show is higher quality. Then you complete the citation, and then what you do is when you're typing in, say, according to Goodman, Trowler, and Monroe, you copy this in your work when you're typing, and then in the bibliography at the end, you just click on that and it'll copy it to your clipboard, and then you paste it. Okay. Now, what if I wanted a journal? And this is the thing. I'll type journal. Literally, I just type journal like that. Oh no, let me go here. Journal, yeah. And I click on there, and I don't know. Yeah, look at self-care. Okay, let's go. This might be a topic. Is there a journal? There is a journal. Now this is just as easy, right? They love journals. It means you're using current reading, yeah. And what you do, some of these journals you have to subscribe to. You have to pay for these services, and they can be like up 30, 40, 50 pounds or 80 pounds just to get the actual journal. I never had money because I was a student, so I would never be doing that. But there are ways around it, and some journals are free and accessible, but a lot more now are being, I think they're trying to make their money, so you copy that. And I'll come back to this in a second. I've copied this. Okay. Let's go backwards. It's a journal. And in the same way with a book, if you find something that has meaning for your narrative, for your content, okay, there you go. Look, it comes up. And what you have to do, of course, you have to copy the link and just put it in there, and it will add the reference, okay? And it will present it as a journal. They love this. They love journals, right? And so you find content. Now, if you can get in, some of these, this one probably you can't get into unless you pay or subscribe, get access, yeah. You have to pay and subscribe. Look at that, it's money. Some of us don't have that. But there are a lot of journals out there you can just get on Google, all right? Or on various websites that are just completely accessible. Like I'm trying to access this one now. Oh, look at that. Yes, there you go. There's a document. You need a DOI number, which is helpful. Or whatever this is from, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a journal. But anything really quite current. And this is my point. You use this is how I just sat at home. I didn't need to go to the library. Sometimes in the library I found it distracting. But because I was building my thing every day, I worked on a totally different system. Some folk were like, I have to go to the library, set it part-time and work it out. And I'm like, I ain't got time for that. What I do is I just do my work every day. And then when I want some references, I have so many references. And I tell you what, I found this the most efficient way to study. It really did help me. So yeah, I'm just, those are my tips for getting these assignments done. I'm not that clever. I got a first, you know. I remember at one point, just to let you know a story, I remember one day I got 45% on an assignment because I did not read the guide properly. And I missed out a whole section of the assignment. I was not for 6. I remember I was getting generally 60s, the odd 70%, late 60s, the odd 70%. And I'm like, I went into uni thinking I must get a first because I can. Because when I did my level 3, I got a distinction. So I thought, oh, I can do this. You're talking to a guy now who was traumatized from education because I had a really bad experience in school, right? So I'm letting you know that it can be done. If I can do it, you definitely can. Especially if you're coming out of uni, you're well acquainted. Coming from A levels, I never did A levels as such. You know what I mean? I never did anything academic, but I got a first because I played the game. And that sounds bad, but you have to show them what they want to see. And so you just need to find the rules and the boundaries, and then you just work within that. Don't try to be all you. It's not going to work. You know, try and do what needs to be done. You're trying to get a degree to change your career. You're not doing a degree because you love doing a degree. Do you know what I mean? You want to be a social worker, get the degree, and then try and help people later. Do a little bit every day. Read the requirements. Relate everything to theory. Don't come up with your own. You will get marked down so hard for that. Reference everything that you say. You don't have any opinions. You only entertain the opinions of other people, right? That have written before you. Do a little bit every day. Stay ahead and book your dates well ahead of time and push past your feelings, yeah? And then you spend the week leading up to the first of the month just touching up your work and editing. God bless people. Take it easy and do well.